First team, representing Switzerland, Sandra Nath, Jakub Paul, Connie Perrin, Remy Bertolla, Celine Nath, Dominic Stricker, and Belinda Bencic. Please welcome their opponents for tonight. Representing Italy, Renzo Fulan, Angelica Moratelli, Andrea Vavassori, Matteo Gigante, Sara Irani, Flavio Cobolli, and Jasmine Paolini. And if you are able, please be upstanding for the national anthems of Switzerland and Italy.
It does look as though there's some really good chemistry within that Italian side. It really feels as though irons have sharpened irons, but they haven't got so sharp that the elbows are out, Jim.
Petch, good to be alongside with you here for this one. I think you're right. I think there's just such a good vibration within the Italian tennis system right now with all their success in the team events and individual success as well. And they just have a lot of momentum that they're riding. It's a big wave right now that's emanating from them, and you can just feel there's a lot of joy in them. But they're going into combat, so they're going to have to temper a little bit of that joy and try and sharpen it into full concentration. And we'll see what Dom Stricker and Team Switzerland can bring to the table tonight. We get a little hop Swiss there.
That was the welcome to this wonderful arena for this Swiss team, and great to see Bencic back in action and in the kind of form that she has shown us in the past. These sort of conditions suiting her style of play. Going to be interesting to see how Paolini handles that kind of flat, fast pace later tonight.
It really will be. What a tough opening match of the season for Paolini, who was such a revelation this year, 2024. A couple of major finals and a lot of smiles. She is a charming young lady and a terrific talent to watch, but she's got a contest on her hands, as does Cobolli. So the Swiss already have a match under their belt, and that can sometimes be an advantage. We shall see. The Italians certainly favored on paper, but we don't play them on paper. They play it on this beautiful blue rectangle.
And Dominic. So gentlemen, please, after the coin toss, there's going to be a picture with her, okay? And just a picture, just you two, all right? So we have the net machine, 25 seconds between points, automatic clock. For the towels, you have all the 4 boxes, but also the assistant in those 2 corners with boxes and towel, and they can bring the towel closer on court if you need.
Is the flag there, or
you have the name of the country, okay? Any questions? No? Dominic, is going to be your choice. John Newcomb or AO?
I'll take AO.
AO. Here we go. Your turn. Perfect. John Newcomb.
Me?
Yeah.
Receive.
Receive. Stay. Okay. Picture. You go in the middle.
No strangers to each other, as we said at the start. They were juniors together. I don't recall they actually ever met on the junior tour. I went back and had a look, but if I'm wrong and somebody knows differently to that, I apologize. Of course, they did win Roland Garros boys junior doubles together the same year that Stricker won the singles. They did play at the Next Gen in 2023 in Saudi Arabia, where Cobolli got the win in sort of 4 sets, but of course that is the first of 4 in that particular competition. For some reason, Jim, that goes down on the official record.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, but that was also where the things went down in a negative way for Dom Stricker with his back. And he suffered a pinched nerve, and it took his medical team time to figure out what the problem was, so he missed a lot of time on tour. He was ranked inside the top 100 at that time, his ranking, as a result of not being able to play until June of last year, when he resurfaced on the grass in Surbiton, England at a challenger. It's dropped all the way to 300 in the world, but we know that his skill level is much higher than that. This is a player with a lot of panache, a lot of style, a real shot maker. And in reading some interviews with his coach recently, they've talked about, Dieter Kindelman, his coach, a veteran, has talked about trying to get a little bit more consistency in his game and maybe just take some of that flash down just a notch.
Yeah, you're right. That's exactly what he's been saying. He said Dom's such a nice guy and funny guy that he's just trying to kind of keep him focused on doing the basics well. This man has been an absolute workhorse in the last few years.
Gosh.
It's been incredible, huh? The amount of matches that he's put together.
I mean, not on the main tour, lots of matches in the challengers and futures along the way, but winning begets winning, and he has built a head of steam and confidence, and his ranking is shot up into the top 40.
Cobolli with just the 1 win on the main tour in 2021. He picked up a total of 0 wins in 2022 on the main tour. 4 main tour wins in 2023, but that season, Jim, he put together 92 matches.
Yeah, won over 50 matches and lifted his ranking right on the cusp of top 100, and has kept charging north since then. He's a talented shot maker as well. Is Cobolli. Put on some size as well. He's grown a little bit, seemingly a little bit taller than the last couple of years, over the last couple of years, and certainly added some muscle. So he is adding a little bit of muscle to that wolf pack of Italian male players that have been storming the castle lately.
Yeah, we haven't had the breakout from Switzerland. No players in the top 100. Of course, this man has been in the world's top 100 before, Dominic Stricker, but haven't had quite the tsunami of talent that you would have expected to come from behind Stan and Roger from the exploits and the success that both those two men have had. But maybe it, like Italian tennis, is on a slow burn, and that particular success will come. Now, I wonder whether the leftiness will be a factor tonight. Of course, 8-5 for Cobolli on the main tour against Southpaws, so he's handled himself pretty nicely in that regard. And a guy that seems pretty phlegmatic. Renzo Furlan, I believe, is joining us from down court side. Looks like a great team atmosphere inside your team, Renzo. Is that right?
Yes, okay. You know, we like a lot this competition, especially in the beginning of the year, you know. Starting the season here in this amazing place, Sydney, and it's really nice competition for us.
And Renzo, Jim Courier here. What about Flavio and in his move in the rankings in the last year? What's been the reason he's improved so much in the rankings?
I think you have to ask to his father, but anyway, he's a great talented guy. I think he has really an amazing talent. His body. He's so fast on the court, and you know he knows how to play on clay, on hard court, indoor. He likes to play everywhere, so I think he has a good chance to improve a little bit more.
Renzo, these two both know each other. Lefty coming from the other side. Where do you see the main threats coming from Stricker tonight against Flavio?
But you know, Stricker is a great talent, and he can play really fast. I saw the match yesterday against Humbert, and I think he's a great server, you know, hitting a lot of aces, and he plays so fast. Maybe he doesn't move very good, doesn't move very well. He had, you know, some trouble last year with his lower back. So we'll see. But he's very, you know, he's very dangerous guy. Very talented, very dangerous. Play very fast. So we'll see what's going on.
All right. Good luck, Renzo.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Ciao.
Renzo, a high-level player in his time, played on tour with us, Petch.
Yep.
And must be proud to see what Italian tennis has turned into. Of course, Switzerland's had a lot to celebrate over the years with not just Roger Federer and Stan Wawrinka, but also Martina Hingis. And now Belinda Bencic is back, and she's on the bench standing by, ready to take on Yasmin Paolini next up. So this promises much. And it's going to be Stricker who's going to lead off. We're ready. Hope you're ready at home. The win predictor says Cobolli is the big favorite. We'll all find out together if that is
Representing
accurate.
Switzerland, Dominic Stricker to serve. Ready? Play.
Welcome to the Flavio show. Well, a little flavour to start off this match with. Talk about confident. What did Renzo just say? I don't think Stricker moves well. Do you want to test it out in the opening point?
I don't know, but it was some brilliant finesse from, and then he goes and changes rackets right away. that was interesting.
He was obviously expecting to hit the cut volley a little closer to the net,
I guess.
I love watching Cobolli play. I mean, at the moment, at 30 in the world, it perhaps doesn't feel as though he's a headline act, but he has got some rare skills. Charismatic. Oh, he's got him. What a lightning fast start this has proven to be for Cobolli. I mean, look at how well he's got behind that ball, and he has absolutely gunned it through the defences here of Stricker.
Oh my word. Lightning bolt. Well, that is some start, and we've got a good view from here. Someone's got an even better view, and that's Josh Eagle courtside. How was that?
Yeah, that was very impressive to say the least, and what a confident start. We know that he's a talented kid. We know that soccer is very much a part of his upbringing, and in fact so much so that he had been signed at a football club, and there was a lot of people encouraging him to stick with the football path. But boy, I'm glad he's playing our sport, because he is fun to watch, as you guys are alluding to. So great conditions courtside here for these players, and what really should be a really entertaining match. So sit back and enjoy.
It might be entertaining in terms of just a sort of individual performance, a virtuoso performance for Cobolli at the moment, because he is untouchable with that quick break of serve.
Josh, did you see whether he broke his string on the first point of the match? Is that why he changed rackets?
Couldn't quite see. If it did, it looked like it was.
Yeah,
there,
he did.
Down on the. You see those ones on the frame there, where it's unusual, isn't it?
Yeah. I just saw the racket get sent back to the stringer, so I figured that must have been it, but it was hard to see from our location. But
yeah, so rare you'd see that. I mean, these are a freshly strung racket. These guys, they change every 7 and 9, so it's rare that happens. But these guys have got plenty in the bag. Don't worry about that.
Got enough skill that he can handle even a racket that loses tension, and just hit a couple of beautiful drop shots that look like he practices them all day.
Can you believe this?
He reminds me of Fabio Fognini a little bit. He just he does things with ease, but just his athletic ability, the way he can just get around the court and get behind the ball. Bright future, no doubt about it.
She works with Fabio's management agency, doesn't work with him individually as a manager, because of course Fabio still playing, although doing a little bit of dancing back home in Italy at the moment.
He was on Dancing with the Stars, Italian version, right?
Yeah.
It's one way to keep your fitness up. I had a little chat with Todd Woodbridge about that. Todd's a veteran.
Yes.
All right, so quick start for Cobolli and for Stricker. We got to see him play a couple days ago, and let's take a look at his serving speeds by the side. On the right side of the court, you see a lot more higher speed serves. On that far left, when he's hitting the soft slider, he's taking a lot of pace off, trying to get the ball out wide. So what that means, it's slower than 180, almost all of those, one in between there. You can really give away that wide corner and not have to worry about it, because you'll have time to get there if you're Cobolli. A big powerhouse lefty serve, you probably need to cover more of the width of the court. And nice for Stricker to get something good going on the board. How's that service motion, Patch?
Solid. I still feel as though there's gains to be had, more leg work potentially.
Kind of serves like someone who maybe has had some back trouble, doesn't get a huge arch on his back, which is where a lot of the power can be generated from. Snapping of the core.
There's the off-pace slider out wide from Stricker as he puts his first game on the board under the watchful eye of his coach. But it is the Italian side that have made that quick start to lead by the break. 2-1. Well, we've been parked outside in the tennis centre here, but of course this is one of the most spectacular cities in the world. There's not in any doubt. It was Paul Hogan, the great actor, was a rigger when they built that Sydney Harbour Bridge. Incidentally, over about 11 million people visit the Sydney Opera House every year. It has become a huge attraction, and it is the oldest city in Australia with one of the great skylines that you can see there. A lot to do, fabulous sunsets. Talking about Stricker's serve, he went out to Dubai a couple of times to have a hit with Federer and train with him, and that was the one thing Roger was talking about with Stricker even back then, is keep working on your serve. For Cobolli, he's been out with Alcaraz at the Juan Carlos Ferrero Academy ahead of 2024, back in 2023. First met Alcaraz when he was at Next Gen back in 21 in Milan. He was a hitting partner for those players back then. It was interesting, after Labour Cup, where Flavio was an alternate, he was saying that he likes to talk with Alcaraz about other things, more about football than he does about tennis, but he was digging in deep with some of the other European members there, with Dimitrov and Zverev, about things in their career that perhaps he could learn from.
That makes sense to maybe keep things a little more generic with your peer group, and then players that are a little older, more experienced, like Sasha, like Grigor, it's a little less threatening to have those types of discussions for both sides. Is that one at 15-30. One thing that Cobolli also shares with Alcaraz is he's conquered his fear of ink. Not afraid to have tattoos, has a few of them, likes them. There's one on his left and his right legs, and Alcaraz has gotten them when he's won some majors. So he's got a little Eiffel Tower peering out of his sock if you watch Alcaraz play. Cobolli said if he makes the quarterfinals at Roland Garros, he'll get the Roland Garros logo tattooed on his body. Alcaraz trying to get a koala this year. Chance to get right back in this one. Nullified the first one with an ace. Second break point coming.
Oh. Was he under pressure there?
No, but he created quite a bit of pressure on that tennis ball. A lot of compression.
After the fact, it's easy to say that perhaps Stricker should have done a little bit more, but at break point down, you don't expect Cobolli to pull the pin out straight away, but he did. Class strike. Serve and survey there from Cobolli, and saw that he got his man on the stretch, hit his spot nicely. But the serve took care of business.
Italy leads 3 games to 1.
If we had time for one more question with Captain Furlan, I wanted to ask him what has generated all of this tennis success for Italy, because I think you and I, and probably even Josh, have our suspicions that the minor league tennis system that they have funded with their tennis federation and all the challengers and futures for men and women available almost every week. Played a huge part in it, and they are flooding the top 100 right now in men's tennis, not just at the top, but they're everywhere.
Yeah, it's hard to put your finger on one thing when anything kind of goes well. There's always nuance to it. There's always unseen consequences of a decision you make. But when you look back in 1990, they had 6 challenges. They only had 3 in 95, Italy. In the start of the century in 2000, they had 10. 6 years later, they doubled that number to 20. And they have around about 25 at the moment, I think. And then you take into account the futures that they have.
The next level down. The entry-level pro events where everybody's losing money.
Yep.
Even if you win that event, you're making about $1,500 for the week. And they're designed, by the way, for people to lose money. So you don't stick around for long. You either get through it quickly or you go do something else.
Correct. But what it has created, I believe, is an ecosystem for the sort of social fabric of Italian tennis to thrive. You've got food and beverage at those clubs. You've got a stringer that's making money when those people are coming to club. Not everyone's making money. Certainly not the players.
Oh, but they're also able to be close to home.
Yep.
Save on expenses a lot of the time, and also their coaches can come watch them play, which is not a luxury that a lot of other pros trying to find their way in the very beginnings of pro tennis can afford. Whatever their secret sauce is, there are a lot of federations around the world trying to replicate it.
Cobolli unable to replicate the fast start that he has, and Stricker just staying in the same zip code for the time being.
Italy leads 3 games to 2.
Josh, I don't know if you were close enough to hear that.
Yeah, not entirely sure what he was asking. What is pretty clear is I think he's stiff. His body is probably struggling. He played a couple of matches yesterday. You can see Dieter Kindelman, his coach, they're really trying to fire him up, trying to get him moving, trying to energize him. But he just looks very stiff on that service motion that you guys both probably alluded to. And I wonder whether that's the fact that he's played a couple of matches, tough matches yesterday.
just in terms of the number of players that they're creating. It's also eyeballs on Italian tennis, Jim, that has been pretty impressive. Sinner's match against De Minaur at the ATP finals this year had over 2 million people watching it on TV. And then you look at their religion, which is virtually football there, Inter Milan and Napoli, which was on the same day. They had under 2 million. Sinner was pulling in more people to watch than one of the big football matches over there in Italy.
Yeah,
and some people say Sinner doesn't have star appeal.
It's remarkable the level of star power he has created for himself, Jannik Sinner, in Italy, and slowly growing that across the world. It's been impressive.
Just to put a pin in that, as he once again pulls the pin out, over 5 million people watched the win in the final for Sinner. It's big ticket stuff in Italy. These guys are turning into rock stars.
And then you have Yasmin Paolini, who nobody really saw coming in 2024. And lo and behold, there she is. You couldn't miss her at Roland Garros at Wimbledon. What a run, what a smile.
She's loving life as she should. Success with her and Renzo Furlan, of course. He was voted, quite understandably, the WTA Coach of the Year for his work with Yasmin. Opportunity in the previous Cobolli service game to try and draw himself up alongside, but he's lost that opportunity, and that was a nice solid performance again from the Italian.
A good show of soft hands on the volley. Stricker coached by Dieter Kimberman, as we've been talking about, and Cobolli coached by his father. And his father was a pretty good player. Got up into the top 250 in the world. Actually had a win over Stan Wawrinka back in 2003 when Stan was just entering the fray. Oh my. He's just so light on his feet, Josh. It just feels like he's like a feather out there, but he drops hammers with the shots.
Yeah, it's easy power. That just shows you how well he times the ball. And this doesn't look like a good matchup for Stricker. He wants to be the one dictating the points. But quite often you see these big hitters where they are forced to hit an extra 1, 2, 3 shots in a rally. They don't like that, and that's what Cobolli is doing well. And his unpredictable nature of game style is throw that into the mix, and it's not looking too great for Team Switzerland just yet.
Likes to come forward, Stricker, but there's definitely work to be done on his transition to be a little closer to net after he makes the approach shot. We saw him a number of times in his opening match against Sunberg get past when he was either on the service line or behind it after an approach shot. again there, he's got good hand skills if he can put the racket on it, but he was a little too far away from the net to be able to close out the game.
Did have a nice tweener here, though. Tried to hit a lob, didn't quite get the angle right, so it was an easy dunk overhead for the Italian. Nice pronation.
Done well there.
Advantage. Switzerland.
Probably be a little disappointed with the height that that ball went across the net here. Could have kept it down. It would have been a very tough volley for Stricker. He's got away with that as well. Needed to change things up, and he does upset the rhythm for the Italian for the moment. Still got to find a way to recover the break. 4-3.
I press because you are like 2-3 seconds too late, but I press. Okay?
Team Italy leads 4-3.
A little soft warning from Damien Dumassois for Stricker, just to speed up a little bit. I believe that's what that was.
Yep. Yeah, just wanting to. He's discussing when they press the timer, when the timer starts in between points. You can just see there, guys, it just looks a little flat for me.
Yeah. His coach, Kindelman, getting right in his grill, trying to pump him up.
The Swiss team trying to find some solutions, Jim, for the problems that he had, and I guess that's one of them, the predictability.
Yeah, just not hitting any forehands down the line to just check the Italians' location and court. Easy to defend when you know where it's going, so that's an obvious adjustment that needs to be made. And you don't have to do it often. Once or twice is all you need to do to force someone to cover that space.
Once again, everything looks so comfortable for Cobolli, doesn't it? I mean, that was a pretty quick second serve. 161 Ks, but looks well within his comfort zone.
No, I think you're right, guys. And Jim, my question to you is, we watch Alex de Minaur, and he's sort of advanced his pace on serve, and Cobolli reminds me a little bit of Alex de Minaur, and I just wonder if he can get another 5 or 10% of pace on that first serve. It's a big weapon that he could potentially, or a big add to his game.
You know, at some point, Josh, it becomes a question of pure math, right? At 6 feet tall, he doesn't have the angle to get a high percentage of first serves in at very high pace. You can have a huge arm, a very live arm. Carlos Alcaraz is the same height, and he can hit the first serve nearly 140 miles an hour, but he's not going to make as many as someone like Sasha Zverev at that speed. So you've got to be more tactical when you're this height because you have limitations. And Stricker is trying to put some limitations on the lead right now. 2 break points coming again. What a great dig that was out of the corner. Cobolli, incidentally, about a 55, 56% first server. And you could get more first serves in play if you don't hit it as hard. What's the trade-off? First serves usually pretty important. And that's where Joshi Diminor did a great job in the 2024 season, adding a little bit more shoulder turn, adding a little bit more speed to his serve, holding serve slightly more, but he made less first serves in play. But he was able to win more points when he got the first serve in play. So at some point, it is a math game. Demon solved it this year. Can he solve it for 2025? We'll see.
First service.
I just wonder if you guys actually like the technique as well, if there's any area you tweak to just try and get a bit more pace or shape or whatever improvement in the serve.
I'll defer to Mark Pecci, our resident technological expert, also technical.
For the most part, I quite like his action. I get the sense that at times he can get a little open right at the throw position. But you do get quite a bit of pace out of that kind of, whatever you want to call it, weighted position, pizza. He doesn't, and you can kind of tell, he doesn't get maybe the short cutter on the juice side because of it. But as you say, Jim, there's always a little bit of a trade-off. He's not the tallest guy, and he does want some pace and pop. I personally, Josh, wouldn't mess with it. You?
No, I don't think I think sometimes he gets his elbow a little tucked in. It's a little tight and a little low. That'd be about the only thing. But it's a loose arm. It's a lively arm. So I think there's a lot of upside still. I think he's only scratching the surface in everything we're seeing about the young Italian stallion.
That's what I like probably the most about his service motion. First of all, he has a good shoulder turn, and that's what Diminor didn't have that added, and that helped. But he's loose. He's not muscling it. And that elasticity gives him a little extra pace. Stricker seems to be more of muscling his serve and doesn't have as much natural fluidity to it.
So dangerous to start changing too many things when the upward graph is very positive, which it has been for Cobolli. Just the one quarterfinal on tour in 2023 in Munich, as we see Paolini going off to start her preparations for this evening's match against Bencic. Of course, 6 quarterfinals last year that turned into 2 semis, one of which he lost, having had match point against Casper Ruud in Geneva, the eventual champion. The second one was in Washington, where he beat Ben Shelton under the lights in a difficult week for Washington with the weather, before coming up short in 3 sets against Sebastian Korda. That highlights the issue that Jim was talking about in terms of taking too much pace off the slider. Players are so good at aggressive returns these days. Looking to bookend this set with a couple of breaks. Started off absolutely on fire. Was untouchable on the opening couple of games. Didn't drop a point. And here's a point to take the opening set for Italy. Fair scoreline, right outcome. He was the better player, was the Italian in that opening set. Claims
been healthy, unquestionably. Just has to rebuild step by step. And there's room for Stricker to improve his fitness, be more explosive with his movement. He's got a lot of raw ability, but I think there's definitely a room for him to get fitter and elevate that aspect of his game as well. Movement is critical. No matter how much hand skill you have if you can't get to the ball. Here's the thing, that's the easiest part. You're in full control of how fit you are, what you eat, what you drink, how much sleep you get. The hard part is when you get on the court and you're playing players like Cobolli, who have a lot of natural ability as well, and they can take the racket right out of your hands, as he did for much of the opening set. This is where things aren't fully in your command. What is it you say? That's the beauty and the brutality of tennis?
Certainly the beautiful part of it, isn't it? And you can watch the way that Cobolli's played. When you don't think a player moves particularly well, there can be a tendency to maybe just massage and coax the ball around the court. But what we've seen from the Italian is that he has gone pretty big and quick into the corners to just expose that movement from Stricker.
In his match yesterday against the Frenchman Hugo Humbert, the first set went 6-3 as well to Humbert, and Stricker made some adjustments and was able to extract an early break and actually serve for the second set before tightening up and losing his way, and eventually that set 7-5. We'll see if he makes any changes here tonight as well.
Subtle extra pace on that second serve. Stricker trying to drag the rally into his favour there straight off the return, but unable to do so.
What is obvious with all these tournaments that the Italians have is the Italian players are really competitive these days. Their attitude hasn't always been the case over the last 10 or 20 years with Italian tennis, but they are tough, they are great competitors, and I think by holding multiple events at futures and challenger level throughout the country, they're turning themselves into great competitors. And you look at all the Italian players these days, they're hard to beat. They don't give much away.
I think this also takes the pressure off the federation, right? You don't have to choose, because ultimately the best competitors are going to show you who they are. Actually like that play from Stricker with his footwork. I kind of prefer him at times getting that front foot forward, more sort of parallel to the court rather than always being open stance with his forehand. Just takes a bit of time. Your contact point is a little bit earlier. I think it will help him if he did it a bit more in his transition game to the net, rather than waiting for the ball, setting, and then moving afterwards.
Body language not great from Stricker. Up 40-15, but missed that shot and was getting down on himself. A little better there, a little pump of the fist in the racket on the back end of that deft touch. Ties it at 1.
Come on, stay there with him. Let's go, Dominic. Come on.
Insight into what coaches have to do, which is a lot of the time be psychologists and really try and manage the emotional state of their players. Which was ever thus. It's a highly charged environment, these one-on-one competitions. Might drive some coaches into the commentary booth, Patch.
You're there to be a conductor at times to absorb the fears of the players. It's not always the easiest place to sit, but you get peaks and you get valleys. So he's in a bit of a valley at the moment with this player here, Dieter, but he's doing everything right to try and keep him on the plane where perhaps we can see his full repertoire of shots. At the moment, the sample size is too small to see whether dropping a bit deeper, which he is, and ripping returns is going to have any benefit. Problem that it does is open up the door for that shot. We saw it on the opening point of this match, the drop shot from Cobolli, and he's reintroduced it here.
And apparently with a racket that's not with a broken string, he can hit it a good one as well, but then he follows it up with a ripping two-handed pass. Great extension with the left arm there. Oh, front-facing tweener volley, and he's got the point. Spectacular from Dom Stricker. I don't know if they have hot dogs in Switzerland, but this was special. I mean, just centered it and then smashed it. That's got to feel good.
Unperturbed, he continues his flawless performance, does Cobolli. A set 2-1 to the good.
Against 2-1.
Dominic. Come on.
Quick turnaround for this man as the conversations continue. As we nip you outside, I think, to where other people are shirtless. That's right, we're heading to Bondi Beach, one of the most visited tourist spots, of course, here in Sydney, in the eastern part of it, and it's just absolutely perfect for a bit of surfing. Not sure how Josh Eagle's surfing is, we'll have to ask him about that in a moment, but just a kilometre long, but it is got the tidal pools that you can go and have your early morning swim. A little flat white perhaps. Picture perfect. Josh, you get out there on the waves up at Noosa?
I get in the water every day. Why wouldn't you? But not so much surfing. That's a difficult sport. I'm not so good at it. But anywhere here in Australia along the
I can't believe it must be the only thing you're not good at.
Many things I'm not good at. But this is good, isn't it? Have a look at this. He's such a talented guy, and I sometimes think when I watch Dominic Stricker, the fact that he has so many options, just trying to narrow the focus at times is the challenge for him because he has such a broad brush. But yeah, that was very skillful and pretty to watch.
The crowd were pretty quick to give him the reward that he deserved for that little bit of skill. Big highlight for him.
Didn't like the direction in hindsight on that volley. Little dipping pass. Tried to do a little too much with it, found the tape. Still finds himself in good shape though at 30-15. Cobolli's great strength is he doesn't go through too many flat spots in a match, even if things are kind of ticking along with the scoreboard. But you can see there immediately he kind of feels as though he's a little second best. He's absolutely ripped that return, a little extra flow, the little slice that's come into it. Constantly looking to try and unsettle your rhythm.
Team Switzerland. 2 games on.
2 games apiece. And Cobolli, we talked about how well he was serving in the opening set. Over 60% first serves in play. He's only made 1 first serve out of 11 in the second set. Has lost his rhythm there. And for me and Josh, you led us into this discussion. I think that's the area where there's the most room for improvement in Cobolli. He's ranked 32 in the world, but he holds serve 45th in the world.
Yeah, and you see the greats of the game and the really good servers. They win that typically 2-3 points a service game, and I'm not saying he doesn't do that, but if he can get a few more free and easy points, it just makes his return game then even more lethal. I mean, you said it, Jim, last night. Alex de Minaur is a great example. He breaks the most out of any player in 2024.
Yep.
If I think Cobolli could think a little bit about that de Minaur game style and replicate it a little.
He should certainly be an inspiration for Cobolli. Similar in stature, but big gulf in their rankings and their success to date. Obviously, Demon a little bit older, a little more mature. Cobolli just 22 years old, as is Stricker, but finding his groove in this game. And at 55% first serves in play in 2024, there's big room for him to improve in that department. You don't want to have to defend your second serve. As we see Cobolli's return hit points when he's returning serve, he is tucked into the baseline. You just don't want to have to hit too many second serves. But he evades the problem there and holds, and he'll sit with a 3-2 lead for Team Italy.
Team Italy leads 3 games to 2.
Let's take Josh, have a look, Jim, have a look. Let's see if we see anything in terms of this serve. I think one thing, he holds the racket very high.
Yeah, the grip isn't great. He doesn't. He's not.
Look at the gap you can see between his bottom finger and the space there.
Yeah, you shouldn't be able to see the butt cap there.
Yeah.
It should be in the middle of the palm of his hand at that point. That will prevent him actually from getting enough wrist action to create angles. That's good contact, right? Full extension. Good height with the legs. What else do we see in there, Joshy?
No, I think the elbow just when on the take back gets a little low, but then it sort of does get some space, and the leg drive then drives the arm through. So there's plenty to like about it actually in isolation when we watch it like that. But I think you're right. The grip, it's more of a forehand or a bit of an Eastern grip as well, and he's not holding it up near the butt.
Well, we were just talking about the serve and Cobolli. We're just having a little look at it in slow motion. We're going to take a second look. Look at the gap here between his bottom finger, his little finger, and the butt cap. That should be no space at all. You shouldn't be able to see the white grip there. It should be right in the middle of his hand. So that's an instant win. If we take a little,
he's choking up on the racket.
Yeah, he's a bit like Sasha Zverev.
He's exactly like Sasha Zverev in this department, but he's not 6'6".
Exactly.
So he's making himself shorter by holding the racket there.
And he's a little open there as it gets into the throw. Those strings are pointing down to the court and up to the ceiling rather than trying to stay side on, which stops him having, I think, a great slider on the tee on the ad and out wide on the juice.
Let's put it in golfing terms. He's effectively using a 3-wood instead of a driver with the length of the shaft that in those terms, right? So he's giving up speed on the serve just by how he holds the racket, but that's a difficult change at this age. Oh, my goodness.
Oh. Phenomenal. A little Italian inspiration.
It was great tennis, and it was also great reactions from both players on the back end of it, both smiling at each other, appreciating the combat and the shot making. That was astonishing. The no-look overhead there. And ultimately, is that going to lead to a decisive break? Love 15-second serve.
I can't believe he's missed that, particularly after he's produced this little miracle coming up. That was a good, solid volley. What a great stretch from Stricker. Even better reply from Cobolli.
I just wonder where we would place Cobolli in the rankings in terms of movement in our game. He's got to be right up there in the top 10 for sure.
That's a good live arm serve. Nice move from Stricker, but in Cobolli's movement, I think about people like Alcaraz and De Minaur. These are players that their fast twitch muscles have fast twitch muscles. It's crazy how quick they are.
14 again.
Super locker.
After that opening point went Cobolli's way, Stricker just put the hammer down. What a great 4 points on the trot from him to level it at 3 apiece.
Great to see Kim Rosewell in the house that he built, looking on. I'm sure he'll be enjoying the way that Cobolli and Stricker are playing this game as well. All court tennis from both these two stars. Actually, that was one of the standout features from the next gen that was just happened over in Saudi Arabia. Just looking at the quality of that field and just how proficient they all were actually in the full court. It was really good to see. This is good to see as well. He was a bit of a scoreboard player in the opening set, very down on himself when things were getting away, but he's found a little bit of backbone in this second set.
After that highlight reel point, that's 6 points in a row for the Swiss.
In alto sulla prima, intensità.
He's been under pressure a couple of times on his serve in this match, and it's been impressive to see how mature, how in many ways conservative he's been to get himself out of trouble. He hasn't rushed to try and do something a little overly special. A couple of very well constructed points there from Cobolli.
Now then, Stricker on the move. Is he ready to take a lead here at the break point? Good stick volley.
Yeah, couldn't have been more accurate with the two shots onto the baseline of the Italian either. This one. What a counter for Cobolli. Stricker's done nothing wrong there.
A great idea from Stricker. He ripped it and ran in. Cobolli purely reactive, and his instincts paying off. Right behind Domi at the net, and back to deuce he goes. He's been a little short on first serves this set, but comes good there with the ace.
To regret the shot that he played in the middle of that rally, Cobolli, after doing the hard work with a nice little flick cross score. Not sure if he felt that Stricker was going to overrun the shot, wasn't going to make his way back. But it has left the door slightly ajar here still for the Swiss man to potentially get the break.
At least Stricker's anger made that little girl happy. That's a fair trade. Gets a warning. Now she gets a memory and a souvenir.
Interesting that he is, he's gone every single first serve on the outside out wide to the forehand. He's not made any, and he's put it in there at 142 Ks. It's almost like he wants to keep Stricker off the court to open the space for his +1 shot, but he is leaving himself a little exposed.
Stricker will feel like he's been hard done by the net again there. Rejected by the tape. Looked like it was on its way to being a clean winner.
That's a great escape. A little scramble to safety for the Italian at a pretty crucial stage in this second set, and he'll be sitting down relieved that he leads 4-3.
Team Italy leads 4-3.
I do think when you watch Cobolli, Jim and Josh, that this is going to be the period for him that's going to be interesting. The lack of a really good slider on the outside is going to allow people to counter that serve out wide, which he likes to do, and start returning a lot more as they start digging into his kind of style and his profile of serving. He's going to have to get better in that department massively.
Yeah, it's a big year for him because he's now consolidating his terrific rise up into the big time of tennis, into the top 50. And players do start to get a book on you, get a better understanding of what works and doesn't work against a player like Flavio, and also where the weapons are and where they aren't. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can continue that upward climb in 2025 that he's been on the past couple of seasons.
Cloudless day, but it's not been a day without some drama. It's been a highly entertaining match in the opener that we saw. This is the day session. Jasmine Paolini hoping that she's going to go into her match with already a win in the Italian's pocket. It's starting to look that way with Cobolli closing in towards the end of this second set. She's got her hands full tonight with a rejuvenated Belinda Bencic. Stricker showing good signs of life and good signs of resistance in this second set. I'll hope that trend can continue. Water polo hat. Finding a nice rhythm with his first serve in the last few games.
Stricker played against Hugo Humbert yesterday, the Frenchman, who is he's a swashbuckler. He can rip the cover off the ball, and he has a good record against top 10 players as a result of his options to really hurt people with weapons. And that's one thing. Cobolli's still waiting for his first win against a top 10 player, and he doesn't quite have that same threat once he's in a rally, or even with his serve, that someone like Humbert does. And that's something he'll need to continue to refine and work on, because the top players rarely beat themselves. You have to do something to knock them off their perch.
Different streak on serve, doing continuing very nicely there. Just looking at, we were talking to Cobolli a lot, but he obviously has been somebody that has risen so sharply up the rankings to see where he can improve. Hewitt is another guy that comes to kind of mind. We talk about Alex de Minaur in terms of his first serve, but looking back at Leighton's career, he sat at 54% of first serves in his career, but he won a very healthy 74% of those points. Backed it up on his second by winning 53. Again, a very good number from his perspective. His trade was a good one.
But I do think, guys, that the big change, I think, or a big change in the last 20 years has been the return of serve, coupled with the string that these guys just take such big cuts at the ball, and they're so dangerous when they return. So Hewitt may have dodged a bullet in that era, I reckon, as good as he was.
Which I can't wait for us to walk in tomorrow to the player lounge with Josh.
That's all right.
And go right across Leighton and see that little glare.
He's a little cranky today after Australia lost, I must say. He's not happy. Disappointed with their loss last night. So he's
Well, you're just throwing more fuel on that fire.
I love his passion.
I love his record. And what I do love is looking at Cobolli. Compared to 2023, he has lifted his speed on his forehand about 5 kilometers an hour on average. So he is capable and aware that he needs to have a shot that scares people. And the forehand's going to be the one he's going to need. Backhand can be rock solid, and he can take it early and do damage with angles, but ultimately the forehands are the deciders in rally in men's tennis. Perfect. Nice forehand execution. Nice dismount, and he'll sit down a game away from putting Team Italy 1-0 up.
Lighthouses. One fun fact about lighthouses, they're all painted differently so that the ships, as they go around the coast, know exactly where they are by looking at them.
Where'd you glean that information from?
Living on the coast in Cape Town. Tennis Australia doing a wonderful job with all the venues that tennis is showcased in around Australia ahead of the Australian Open. No different here as well. Nice wide space for everybody to sit out there in the sunset. Pickleball going on in the background to the left.
It's not pickleball.
It's not quite pickleball.
Yeah, it's tennis with softballs. Good entry level for the kids. So a chance for kids who, having a couple of little boys myself, they can get anxious at events like this and want to get involved. Tennis Australia providing that opportunity, which is a godsend to parents, I must say. And burn some energy.
Sort of mentioned pickleball, of course, because the Australian Open will have the first pickleball slam with about 100,000 Aussie dollars on offer for prize money. So if you are down in Melbourne and you want to catch a little bit of that, it'll be showcased. Profitable strategy for Cobolli on that ad side with that very sharp angled return cross court off the two-hander.
How do you combat that if you're Stricker with the serve?
You got to slide it into his hip and get into the body. Just giving him a little too much width.
Did well limiting Cobolli's options by playing that one fairly central and short in the court. And had his way with him on the volley. Oh, what a return though from the Italian, little flash. And still game point for the Swiss.
Showed good character along with skill set has Stricker in the second set. Somebody that's also got their eyes glued to proceedings out here in this second set. Belinda Bencic getting herself warm. Good to see her back. Good to see her playing the kind of tennis that we know she's capable of. Part of the reason that she came down to Australia, the fact that she got into the United Cup, but she's not been a part of this to get a couple of matches. They're not sure that they would have actually come down. Adelaide with a cut-off that's inside the world's top 30 for the women, so there wasn't really too many options there. Can't pull off the Stricker.
We all love it when it is pulled off, and it's a beautiful highlight shot, but at 5-all in the set and just 15 love, not 40 loves, seemed to nod Joyce. Hindsight perfect up here in the booth, of course.
Hasn't been his perfect serving display in terms of numbers for Cobolli, but it has been perfect in terms of service games held in this second set. Assures himself at least a breaker here at 6-5.
Buono, game di prima, è stato tanto così.
It's been a good calmness, Josh, about Cobolli in his second set. Hasn't really hit the peak of the opening set, but has just kind of bided his time here.
Yeah, he certainly has, and the whole team environment, you can see that there. There's not a lot of song and dance going on. It's, they're experienced in teams events, clearly, with their success that they've had, and he's showing a sense of maturity, as is Renzo Forlan. Of course, a good former player, just very calm in this difficult situation. I think we all agree, we feel like he's probably going to go on a win from here, but take my hat up also to Dominic Stricker. He's done well by just hanging around, so not done and dusted just yet. He's still a chance, and still a bit of tennis left.
There are a few Group D scenarios tonight that could be decided if Switzerland were to win this match, either 2-1 or 3-love. They would qualify for the quarterfinals. That would be done and dusted. If Italy win this against Switzerland 3-0, France or Italy will win the group depending on the Tuesday score. If Italy actually beat Switzerland 2-1, which would be significant, then all three teams still in contention in this group. So that is what's on offer tonight for these two great tennis nations. Good job of diffusing the atomic delivery that he got in that opening point. Stricker just through the middle of the court. That serve out wide is something that perhaps Cobolli is going to have to kind of cheat out to try and counter better than he has done in the set so far if we get to a tiebreak.
Well, Stricker's just not been missing many first serves this set. Foxed him on the forehand there, but the first serve has been really important for Team Switzerland in this second set. He's made over 75% first serves, very high level, and he's really diffused a lot of the strain and stress that he suffered through in the opening set when he was broken twice. And the other coin, Cobolli served miserably this set, under 50% in his head stress. Flails at that one. A low 40 point.
6 games all, tiebreak.
Almost built himself a lovely platform there, Stricker, to attack Cobolli with that second shot. Does the Italian take a little gamble out wide? At least get beaten by his least favourite serve down the tee in this second set so far. He's got him with something magical.
Hanging in there in the rally was Cobolli. Stricker came in on something he shouldn't have. He was pressing the attack button a little too early. That shot, he should have stayed back at the baseline. He had a terrific volley, but
2-1.
Cobolli was there for a dynamic pass and a mini break that he's got right now at 2-1. Good serve from Stricker to stay close, but we saw him make a couple of those choices against Humbert yesterday and force his way into the net rather than staying back. So there's room for improvement in that decision making for this young Swiss player, this 22-year-old as well.
Good that is, the load in the legs. He was off the ground after exploding up into that particular shot behind the baseline. Stricker no chance to track that down. He's got him with that pass.
Team.
Oh, no choice but to come in behind this. That return put him in no man's land. Cobolli, and this pass was awesome from Stricker. Threads it down the line, and he's back on serve.
hacking the baseline, and his return position there has been able to cut off both of those serves on the outside very nicely. No room for error for Stricker. More pressure on him at this stage to try and take this contest into a final set.
Say, allez.
5-2. Team Italy.
Again, that's the lovely delta that he has between that deft little touch on the return and then suddenly the devastating turn of pace off the ground. Stricker very much second best in this tiebreaker.
Team Italy.
Just a point away from sending the fans into a frenzy is Flavio Cobolli. Bided his time very well in this second set. And he finishes with a flourish.
2 sets to love, 6-3, 7-6.
Sprinted to the finish line once they got into the tiebreaker. The battle of the two 22-year-olds, not for the first time they clash. But Cobolli is a stage of his career where he is full of confidence, buoyed up by the matches that he's put together in 2024. Stricker still very much in the rebuilding process of his career after injury. But better days ahead for the Swiss star, but that is a nice solid start to the evening for the Italians, Jim.
Yep, it absolutely is for Cobolli. First match of the new season, and he comes through not without a little bit of stress in the second set, but passes the test. You know, pass the baton on to Jasmine Paolini, as she'll take the court shortly and take on Belinda Bencic. So a lot of joy there with the team there. There's his father, gets the first hug. And then the rest of the team gets some love as well. But he puts him in a good position. But Dom Stricker, it's great to just see him healthy again after all the travails that he suffered with the pinched nerve in the back. Better days ahead for him. Great to see him back out here on the circuit. But Cobolli has done his job and done it very well.
He's shown backbone in both of his two matches as well. Has Stricker coming back in second sets, given himself a chance. Just couldn't quite get to a third set, but it is victory for the Italians. And Flavio, in a moment, will be having a conversation with Josh Eagle.
Flavio, congratulations. You set that match up with your start today. That was a great start. You came out really fast, moving well, hitting the ball great.
Yeah, of course. I think I played a really good match, maybe the best of the year. No, I'm joking. You know, it's always a great thing to play with the flag of Italy on the heart, with some friend on the bench, with my dad on the bench. So. It's always fun, and I did the great things today for us.
Talk about Italian tennis. It's just going from strength to strength, women's, men's. Can you tell us why it's so strong?
Yeah, Yannick and Jasmine gave us the motivation. The federation did a great work of so many years, so now we are so many on top 100, so I think we are doing the great things on the tour.
You're certainly a great talent, and we saw that today, but also you were a great soccer player or football player. Can you tell us a little bit about that, please?
Yeah, I was a football player when I was young, but then I chose the racket. Maybe it's the right choice.
We're very happy you made this choice. You're great to watch today. You've put Italy in a great position. Congratulations, great start.
Thank you so much.
He's a great talent. If Roger Federer decides that he wants to sign you to his company that he's backed, you know you've got a pretty bright future. He hasn't put anything wrong in the last 3 decades, Federer. He's been in the zone, nothing but net for the former world #1. And there wasn't too many net shots from this man tonight. Cobolli, there'll be a few shots into the crowd, and there's still a lot of ceiling room for somebody that's made his name on the tour for the very first time this year.
Yeah, it's an important season for him to see if he can keep improving, not just his game, but also his rankings. Made such a huge move in the last year from 100 to 32 in the world. As you see the match summary, first serve percentage, 54%. That's pretty much bang on his average for 2024. It was a struggle, though. It was good in the first set, and then it was down in the second, so got to work on that. But the 10 forehand winners, those were promising, and he was excellent up at the net, winning 8 for 8 in the opening set before, well, Dominic Stricker made it much more difficult for him in the second set. But overall, a high-quality contest, and it's Italy